It's still
Well, this is the kind of match every football fan looks forward to. A lot on the line and the likelihood of a tension-packed occasion. Stay tuned, we'll have all the action for you live
and
on EA
I'm going to take
TV.
you right into the heart of it all. This is where the first crime occurs. When you
And a
first
warm welcome.
are
Anticipation levels are high. We're
learning
here
about
at
the
the
case,
Coliseum Alfonso
you
Perez.
just want to get a feel for like where did these things happen? Who were the players in this? And can you tell anything more about this offender by going into the places he was in? A few houses down on the right is number 3.
Yes, and these houses are
Looking forward to a fabulous game. I'm sure
For Michelle, it's like, I want to get in this guy's mind. I want to go to these places. I want to try to understand why this area and why so close together. Was he from here? This is his hotspot. This is the house right here. He cut the phone lines and raped her and left the scene. This was in June 18th, 1976 was this attack, and the attack we're going to was in August 29th, 76. We're pulling up to attack number 3 right now.
It looks like a conventional
The
4-4-2.
12-year-old saw a masked man outside the window, ran and woke her mother up. The mother ran to the kitchen and dialed the operator. Moments later, Ear was standing in the doorway with a club and a gun, naked from the waist down. He told the mother, "Freeze or I'll kill you." The mother grabbed the gun down as he approached her. He clubbed her until she lay on the floor. A neighbor had seen Ear walking away with no pants on, but could not describe his face. This is the second house in, and if we drive to the corner house, and if you kind of just look on the fence line right here through, this goes straight to the attack, number 1 attack in June of 76. The neighbor also said that he was hearing for a couple months prior people jumping over his fence. It's my guess that he was actually looking at these houses long before he attacked. It's amazing to me that any one person could get away with this many crimes. And you can just see how they're just the stones throw away from each other. And right down the fence line.
But he wasn't walking at those.
Real Madrid certainly did enough in their last game against Osasuna. What do you expect to happen this time, Lee?
Well, all that hard work got themselves into a playoff place. Really good all season.
As Michelle was going
Yes!
through the drive arounds of Sacramento,
Who else?
I saw her confidence growing. It was really exciting to have
Unstoppable.
you're in love with someone and they're doing something, and you can see how excited and energized they are about it, and that makes you excited and energized. I'm amazed I'm still funny. I'm amazed I'm still funny. Because I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. Yes, I am. And there is nothing ends a comedian's career quicker than regular sex and being in love. It's the worst thing on the planet. My girlfriend is obsessed with like true crime and serial killers too. All she does all day. Watches FBI files, forensics files on TV. The most graphic, disturbing, depressing shows. I walk in the house every single day. The amount of semen found in the chest cavity later, I was like, oh my god! I was like, shit's the semen cavity killer. I don't want to do it. When I met Michelle was on, it was a show at the Largo. I think it was May 20th. I had been doing The King of Queens for 5 years, and I had a couple specials at that point. But she wasn't that steeped in the comedy scene, so she didn't know who I was.
This guy was funny. More than funny. He was moody and startling, but hilarious. He could move the crowd with the tiniest of expressions. Irish girls, he said. He knocked the microphone against his forehead. Irish girls are my kryptonite.
And then I was just sitting at a bar afterwards and she was leaving and she literally tapped me this way. Irish woman is so fucking like steamroller gorgeous that I was just stunned and I literally ran around the street. And I went, hey! And then the words that I was just hey! And then she turned around and went, I'm not gonna play any fucking games. I want your name and number so I can take you on a date this week. Are you free? And she went, yeah. I went, good, give me your number. It was just the most awkward, non-James Bond moment I could have had.
Oh, get in there! Lovely move.
Our first date
Woo-hoo!
in LA, they show movies at the Hollywood Forever Center. So we went and watched an Italian one called The 10th Victim. Really goofy Italian science fiction film. I was too nervous to really do a lot of talking that night. She did way more of the talking because she just was. And the more we talked, I'm like, oh my God, she's so smart and so quiet. I'm going to screw this up.
Great finish.
I remember I called her late at night because I was up and I'm like, this is like the room's right. She goes, I'm watching it. It's one of my favorite rooms. And that was one of the things we bonded over really early. We loved that.
We loved many of the same things, like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Tales of the Grim and Offbeat, and good food. I didn't like the way his comedian friends, including him, seemed to tell jokes but never listen. He thought I was thin-skinned. For a while, it seemed it might not work. But one night, he was saying goodbye to me, and he won me over with an adorable Edward G. Robinson impression.
That's how to finish.
Yeah, see? Look at a getaway stick on that tomato. Like chatting her up, but in that old understanding that was so hilarious.
I laughed and grabbed him. More, I said.
Ooh, look at it. Keeps throwing that number. You know, couples have in-jokes with each other, and that became one of my, you know. It was just all that 30s gangster slang. You know, however you want to say it, I can't.
I wouldn't let him go. After a while, we gave up and moved in together.
I made this custom desk for her. It was in this kind of half-moon shape. It was like I wanted her to have like this command center.
I've never tired of the Robinson impression. I've never tired of Patton.
Not a good pass.
Michelle knew that she was marrying a famous person, and as much as she lived a life that, you know, a lot of people might fantasize about, none of that mattered to her. And I mean, really. She was a regular,
Not even half time yet.
Midwestern
Jesus.
gal. And she didn't want to be anything else.
The whole being photographed and going to premieres and stuff, that meant nothing to her. Especially if you're someone who's thinking, I want to go home and write later, or I want to get up tomorrow and write.
One of her favorite things in the world was to be in her room under the covers, like with a fan, reading.
She went to the Oscars, she went to the Grammys. We just always giggled about it. I mean, it's just like so different from how we grew up. She usually would wear black, and she would joke that they would think she was like a PR person.
Not even half an hour gone.
She was really good at making herself sort of fly on the wall and inconspicuous. I think it's one of the reasons she had an incredible insight into people. She listened, she watched, she didn't need to be the center of attention. She didn't want to be. I think she'd always been sort of singled out as, you're a terrific writer. And then she got to LA.
Played 6.
You know, there's a gazillion people trying to do the same thing, and that was hard for her. She hadn't experienced, you know, that degree of consistent rejection and failure and disappointment. Her ultimate dream was always to write books or for New York. She also really wanted a child.
4 years after they got married, our daughter was born.
Hi. Hi.
It was so amazing.
Look at me. Oh, Alice.
But I think Al's was about 2 or 3 when Michelle was meticulously due diligence researched about era.
In Sacramento, the air is immediately better. Struck by the big open spaces. A little over half a million, or about 500,000 people, but feels, coming from Los Angeles, feels so much smaller.
Well, let's see what they have in store for them on the break.
I'm good. I might have more guys. This is crazy. Can I have one more latte? But this was really
What game?
When Michelle interviewed me, we met for breakfast down at the Citizen Hotel in downtown Sacramento, talking about the attack. It was difficult, but Michelle, she was so serious about the case. She was just the easiest person to talk to.
So, I'm from suburban Chicago, so all of this is so foreign to me. But what I'm trying to get back into sort of the mindset.
A lot of people will say that the EAR crime period was kind of the end of innocence for Sacramento.
That's wrong pass.
American and Sacramento Railroads. It was built up being a commerce center, and it became the state capital. We had both Mather Field and McClellan Air Base, so military was a big aspect of the economy and the people who lived here. Back in those days, you didn't know more of your neighbors. People didn't lock all their doors or their cars necessarily all the time. And terrible crime was just not that common.
And the flag has gone up, offside.
Somebody's Sacramento being a cop is like a cop anywhere else. That's pretty slow. Then June comes along and you got this pervert later known as the East Bay rapist. I responded to a home invasion rape in 1976, October 5th, Jane Carson, Wood Park Lake.
At the time the East Area rape cases started, I was working homicide, and I think it was the 5th case I was called to the scene on, which was Jane Carson. What's the feelings that you're going through, and wondering whether you did the right thing or whether you did the wrong thing, or could you have done anything any differently? And I think you handled the situation very well.
I had thought of kicking him, but it would have been useless as my hands were tied and I was blindfolded and my child was with me.
When the husband left for work, the rapist was in their house and on her. We moved down to the minute what was going on in Jane's house and the neighborhood.
A
My
bizarre
lawyer that day
pass.
was convinced that this probably wasn't just a routine rape. In fact, I know it wasn't. And then I started digging in deeper. In the meantime, we had a couple more rapes, and at that point, there's no question we had a serial rapist. He had a different pattern.
When we realized that we first had a series going, the sheriff did not want the media to be aware of it.
Because we didn't have anything.
Because of what was happening within the rapes, he didn't want the word to get out to make fear in the community.
We just weren't ready to handle anything coming in. We didn't have that many people working it.
This is attack number 8, and this victim was accosted outside of her house as she drove her car into the driveway. She was taken into the backyard of her neighbor's house, and there were strips of cloth already laid out for ligatures. Her ankles were tied with cord. She was blindfolded, gagged, jingling her car keys. The ear said he'd be back in 5 minutes. Car was reportedly found in the area with the dog.
Lovely pass that is.
The media became aware of it. The sheriff said, please don't print anything, we're going to catch this guy. And then as time went on and we didn't catch the guy, the media said, okay, we're going to start printing. That was when the whole community was brought in. What happened right after number 8 on 11/3/76? The rape series came to light during this meeting on crime prevention. There were 500 people in attendance.
You can use a simple alarm system. Mount a bell device on the outside of your home. String some wires to a power source, and then string the other set of wires right to a nightstand and have a toggle switch there. And if you ever hear the glass breaking, reach over on the nightstand and flip the switch, the bell goes off on the outside.
Other than by word of mouth, where people might be talking about a neighbor that had been raped, there wasn't a lot of information until this time. On 11/4/76, the first newspaper article on the ear appears in the Sacramento Bee.
Warren Holloway was a reporter, and I put a little one-paragraph note out to the detectives that a rape series going to East area. And he walked out, he saw that next day on the newspaper, East area rapist. He just got picked up and brought away, East area rapist.
3 weeks after attack number 8, where it was announced there was a town hall meeting in Rancho Cordova. Of the 35 attended, only one of those was a male.
Jesus, keep her rooted.
Following 2 weeks later, publicity may have curtailed rapist is written in the Sacramento Bee. Then he has his 10th attack.
Oh, come on.
A lot of people don't realize this, but 6 rapes in Sacramento out of the first 10, 6 of them were teenagers, and 2 of them were 15 years old.
Losing possession. Can they create something? Oh, big opportunity.
This one here is probably Christmas Day, which so would be a week after it happened.
Vinicius Jr.
It was December 18th. There was a high school dance.
Oh, God!
So at the last minute, I decided to stay at home. My parents were going to a Christmas party, and my sister was at work. My parents left probably around 6:30ish, and I think I put a pizza in the oven. I remember having my slippers on, and I decided to go play the piano.
Excellent vision.
I heard a noise, but at 15 years old, you always hear noises in your house.
Oh, what a finish that is! Woohoo!
I stopped. I do remember stopping.
Stunning! That was a great goal.
I didn't hear anything else, so I continued to play.
Leaning back slightly, knows the ball's going to go just underneath the bar.
It wasn't very much longer, maybe a couple minutes, that I felt
top
a
bins
presence next to me.
Pick it out.
And then I felt a knife at my throat. And then he told me in my ear, you know, if you scream or move, I will put this knife through your throat, and I'll be gone in the dark.
Well, great read there to intercept.
He moved me down the hallway through the garage and into the
Benzema hat trick, come on.
where I was left out in the on the picnic bench while he went back into the house. And he told me he would be watching me every 10 seconds. He came back outside.
Oh,
where he cut
well,
my
get
clothes
across in
off.
the toll there.
He would bring me inside.
Oh, what you fucking mess! Jesus, Madrid, come on, you're better than that.
And then another
Oh,
time.
look.
Yeah. So that was my first memory of that.
It did appear that they might be onto something, but not so. No nonsense clearance.
I think during that time, though, I was there wasn't a lot of feeling going on. I was pretty numb.
An unforced
And,
error, you've got to say.
But what I do remember is he had moved the couch very close to our fireplace. But because I was blindfolded and couldn't see, I thought he had caught our couch on fire.
Oh, what was
And
that?
that was probably, that was really scary. So I thought, I was gonna die.
We're gonna get the hot.
And then he was gone.
Well, if you can't block the shot, put the forward off, and that's exactly what happened there, but it's just off target. So 2 minutes.
I stopped playing the piano shortly after the attack. It was difficult for me to play because I always felt like there was some
emphatic.
It's just a few hours.
Well, it must be a dream as a striker
But it changed everything.
They create for fun and have a lovely
It had been a month since he last struck, but he has struck again. This time it was a 15-year-old girl. Again, it was in a northeast Sacramento neighborhood. Again, he knew she was alone, forced his way in, using a knife to threaten her, and raped her repeatedly for several hours and forced her to perform perverted sex acts. The latest victim was younger than the others, and the attack took place early in the evening, where the others took place between 11 at night and dawn. But
See
it
a
definitely
couple of
was
these
the same
goals.
rapist who has eluded authorities for over a year.
See this goal here.
When Michelle and I talked about this story, it was one of those things that you just kind of keep thinking about and keep thinking about. Michelle had already done an incredible amount of research. And I remember thinking, okay, we've got a few hurdles. I have to pitch this to my editor-in-chief. Everyone loves a story about a killer. But in order to get her interested, I had to convince her that this story was relevant now, and that it was like a Los Angeles and a California story. Michelle was an incredible intrepid reporter. As we were sort of trying to put the pitch together, she would go on her own and just research things. You could be completely confident that she was going to come back with something good, and not just get the facts right, but also be able to have that relationship with that person that she would need, that no one else could get to.
I pitched LA Magazine your story, and they were interested in doing it, possibly, which would be amazing. I mean, that would be like the kind of publicity that just can't buy. Yeah.
I mean, I just think the story is so important to be told. I mean, it gets me that this person, I just feel like he's smirking somewhere, going like, I don't have to pay for this ever.